This is our normal run speed. If you're going forwards, backwards, whatever, okay? And now you see it going up and down, and then we have bunny hopping mechanic, which a lot of people, I think, maybe having a bit of trouble with. So one of the hard things is maintaining speed with your bunny hops. People have a rough time doing this. So there's a few tricks to this. Because you're on a controller, it doesn't work exactly the same as it would work with a mouse and keyboard. So for one thing, when you strafe, you can strafe left and right. You can move up and down. But unlike on a keyboard you can only move at 45-degree angles, right? So you can only go up. You're also seeing wall running there, which is another thing we're going to go over. But you can only go like diagonally up and right at a 45-degree angle. Whereas with an analog stick, you can go like strafe a little bit forward. What the fuck is that? Oh my god. So that's something that you can utilize, right? Because the way the movement works in Quake, if you're moving away from your if you're moving, I'm not an expert on this shit. I had to watch YouTube videos about this shit. But basically, if you're moving away from wherever your gravitational force is, then you accelerate, right? So that means that if we go diagonally while we're kind of going forward for a little bit of time, we gain acceleration. We can use that to our advantage, and we use it to our advantage a lot, right? Here's some of the movement mechanics that you can use that are useful. There's wall running, which is very simple, right? You just run into a wall and then you run diagonally, and you see that you can get a speed boost from that. If you do it properly, you should be able to get up to like 470 speed off that. And so this is obviously useful there. 474, I think 480 or something is 1.5 times 1.5 your maximum speed is what you should be able to get off this. And it's kind of handy in just certain places, like in this level, for example, right, where these long hallways, you can just run along them. I'm not doing it very good there, right? You can just run along them for a stretch and and plow through them. I thought I killed this fucker already. Okay. So that's one thing. Another thing you can do is you can circle strafe, right? You can still do that. So you can do them pretty easily, actually, and that is you're strafing right and turning right at the same time. And you can kind of go diagonally into it, right? And you can see the speed that I'm getting there. And actually, I should have started with this. There's one thing that you want to kind of make sure that you do, or that's handy at least, is your controller settings are important, right? So you want, for me, I found that, well, at least this is just, I'll show you, aim X at 10 and aim acceleration off, and then aim Y you can have higher or lower. The thing is if you look up or down while you're aiming, or while you're turning, it'll fuck up your acceleration, not fuck off your acceleration. Anyway, so I'm just going to show you here. So you run straight and turn right, okay? And so because you are constantly moving away from your gravitational force or whatever your pull when you're doing this, you accelerate to 489, and so that's with a 10. That's because of the 10 turn speed on the x-axis. Okay, so that's a 489, and that's also why we want to make sure that we don't use aim acceleration, because if we use aim acceleration, there is a problem with this, it is a bit of a slow turning speed, right? So we'll even put it at just 1, okay? And then if we use aim acceleration, you don't get a constant, well, you do get a constant speed, but it's busted. It's not the speed that we're looking for, right? That's way, way lower, because I'm doing these really tight circles now because of the aim acceleration. You can also go lower, and this is kind of good. This is kind of better if you're trying to bunny hop. This can make it easier to control because you gain speed a little better with this when you're bunny hopping than I find with the 10. But the turn speed on it is slow as shit, and you also don't get as much speed from your turns, which isn't as useful, right? Okay. So there's that. So yeah, 10 is what I'm at with no aiming style. I think 12 is just 12 is not bad. If you want to have a little extra turn speed, that can be really handy. Like obviously for turning and whatever in fighting, right? You want to be able to turn fast. But I get by just fine with 10, and I find it gives me the most speed. So, and just you can do that you can do this any direction too. This is another way with thing that you do when you're fighting is zigzagging with. You can zigzag with your view, and you can zigzag with your character. You can zigzag like. If you zigzag with your turning, obviously that's going to give you speed, right? Like you can kind of see there, again, I can get my speed up just from moving around. And then all I'm doing is just going left and right and left. And you can do that any direction, any combination of directions. So that's one thing you can do. But obviously you don't want to be turning around like a maniac, like an idiot all the time, right? So another thing you can do is you can do this. This is actually really handy, and this is something that I don't think PC players can really do to the same effect because it's a lot harder to do this on a keyboard, and all you're doing is you're doing nice slow circles, and you can see that my speed, once I get the timing on it good, you can see that I'm speeding up as I'm moving around, right? And so that's all just with the left stick, and you can maintain a speed of like above 400 usually, and then you can also switch people out, and you can zigzag back and forth too. So just make sure that you're kind of using your diagonals a lot. You're not doing straight up and down movements or left and right, because those aren't going to do you any good. If you want to dodge a rocket, you can zigzag out of there with speed, okay? Then you don't need to jump all the time. Sometimes jumping makes you an easier target. So you do need to kind of pick and choose your moments. But yeah, you can, and you can also use just your left stick to gain speed for jumps. If I can get this going right. Ooh, well, whatever, that's decent. But anyways, so that's something that you got to keep in mind. And I got my Switch over here. This guy over here that we're looking at is actually me on my Switch. And just kind of see what that looks like. Okay, so whatever. Moving forward and backwards, right? It makes you like you're, whatever. Not too bad. But if you start going in circles, whoa, see that shit? I'm not even doing it good here. But yeah, like you can really like move around an enemy a lot, and you can switch in your zigzags and shit too, or whatever you want to call it. But yeah, so that's just like a really good, useful technique to use on a controller. I can hook my keyboard up and go for it, and try and show you what I'm talking about, and maybe I'll do that after. But like, I'm sure with practice you could get good at it. I'm a decent keyboard player. I'm by no means like a fucking top tier player, but I'm not bad with one, and I find it much more difficult to get going than what's it called, just doing it on an analog stick. Okay, so the next thing we're talking about is what I'm doing right here is so combining circle strafe jumps and also maintaining speed while you're bunny hopping. Okay, so these are two things that are really tricky to do on a controller if you don't know what you're trying to do, right? Maybe the sort of maintaining speed thing is not so bad. Air turning is possible on controllers. It is tough to get it to continue. You can do it, right? But it's really hard to actually maintain speed while you're doing it. It's easier to kind of just strafe jump. And then you want to circle strafe your turns, right? And actually, see that? I kind of see I had a good air turn there, the first one I did, and my speed went up to 470. And then the second air turn I did just fucked it, and that was it. But what we can do is we can essentially strafe jump, and this, I'm losing speed here, but I should be gaining it. Hold on. And so the way that we do this is so unlike in Quake, in Quake, like at least in my experience in Quake 1, you're not supposed to press the up button. Pressing the up button brings you back to your initial speed, so it'll slow you down. You're only supposed to press left and right when you bunny hop and you an air turn, right? But you actually in this you actually want to press up left and up right on the analog stick, but not like you want to kind of do it a little closer to the left and right sides. It's the best way to describe it, I think, is like if you were to like say like that left is like um what is it? Why am I sub? Or we'll say right or nine. Left is 9 o'clock on a clock, right? And so you got to think that if the hour hand was pointing like just a little bit up from the 9 towards the 10, that's kind of where you want, maybe like 10 o'clock actually, I guess, is probably about where you want to be pushing the analog stick, so that you're not you're still pushing up a little bit, but you're also pushing mostly to the direction of the strafe, and that'll help you keep your momentum going and get more speed, gain speed. There's also, from what I understand, a speed cap, which makes it hard to do, to maintain speed in certain areas. But like in, yeah, I don't know. You can do it. I'm not doing it. I gotta get a feel for it. Hold on. I'm doing it bad now. You also need to switch directions, and another thing that helps is you don't press it. You go neutral on the analog stick while you're in the air, and then you press the direction that you want to do the strafe jump when you land. And another thing you can do is you can also, oh, that's right, that's what it was, is you can skate, right? So if you get the timing on it good, timing's okay. But if you get the timing on it right, then you should be able to kind of skate with your movements. So you do like, what you're doing is you're landing, pressing the direction on the analog stick, and then jumping a bit late. You're actually not jumping right on landing. Let's see if I can get it going. No. I did it this one I gotta practice, to be honest. But again, it's another thing you can do. So yeah, what we want to learn though is we want to learn how to get our circle strafes going, get a nice circle strafe jump, get that, and then chain those together, and then be able to jump straight through areas with like basically holding up, sort of, but up and right and like up and left. I'm trying to think what else there is. I think that's pretty much everything for now. There's probably more that like once I kind of suss out the air turning a little better, so that I can maintain speed with it, I'll try and explain that. But yeah, you want to just remember to turn into your jumps, okay? Circle strafe jump, you know, turn left and hold left and right, or hold left and on both analogs, on the left and right analog sticks, what I meant to say, and jump. And there you go, you've done a circle strafe jump. And then just learn how to chain those together. And remember that you can still, and like when you land, you can slide and circle strafe and keep your momentum going and even get speed on it. So yeah, I do feel like I'm forgetting something important, but whatever. This is it for now. Yeah, so wall run, turning and like turning the analog stick slowly. Zig-zagging. Well, we can even just try. Yeah, so this is just a plain old strafe jump, okay, and then circle strafe combined with your strafe jumps for the longer sections. Yeah. And then obviously there's like rocket jumping and grenade jumping shit, but that's, you know, I'm not gonna try and explain that shit. Yeah, and just also thank you to Dan the man, and if you are interested in playing Quake, get Discord, join the Discord. People are nice. Oh, I can make that jump sometimes if I time it better. But yeah, try them out. Good luck. Very high. Remember this one, man. Super handy in DM. This is going to be the difference between you getting hit by a rocket and not getting hit by one. So, practice that shit. Yeah. Okay. Bye.